Well, we've got a range of policies we've announced today, but they're all in service of us trying to build more truly affordable homes for local people and to ensure that first-time buyers get fair access to new homes in their area. You know, the policy you were talking about is, we're seeing far too many, especially in London and other cities, where huge swathes of new homes are being bought off-plan by overseas investors, often to be left empty just as a capital asset, really without any local or first-time buyers even getting to look at it before it goes off the market. So that's something that's got to end. I think it will help address the housing crisis, and we've got a number of other policies as well, trying to make homes truly affordable, not the affordable measure that they currently are, but linked to average local wages so that they're affordable to more people.
In saying that, you said that, but ultimately there's always the big question is supply, isn't it, when it comes to housing? There's just not enough houses being built in this country. And we know lots of people, for example, are now living on their own, which they didn't necessarily do in the past. I mean, how does Labour tackle that? Because the government's trying to bring in reforms. People do not want to see houses built on the green belt or indeed in their area. How does Labour get around that obstacle?
Well, it is. It's absolutely critical. Housing supply is a critical issue. And one policy that we've announced today, which I think could, by many estimates, could provide another 100,000 new homes every year, many of which could be social and council. And that's changing these arcane, out-of-date purchase powers that local authorities have. At the moment, they have to pay a real premium price to speculators and landowners for land that they might want to build new homes on, because they get the value that the land might be worth once the homes have been built on it. You have to pay that amount, not what it's actually worth today, and that's preventing a lot of town centres, a lot of high streets, a lot of former industrial sites in our towns and cities being bought up and used for housing. So this is a big kind of radical policy that we're announcing today, which we think can revolutionise this space and deliver the homes we need.
Instead that we'll be talking about that. And
sometimes I think you guys are a bit more interested in those things than the kind of meaty policies I'd rather be talking about. But look, it's not language I would use. I think she should be clearer about that and make that clear, because if people are offended by the language that we use as politicians, we have to reflect on that and make clear. And look, she's a northerner like me, and what language we use as sort of as Mancunian might not offend in Manchester, but it can offend elsewhere, and that clearly has. So it's something I think she should set right.
But on a serious note, I say that because, yesterday it was all about kind of changes to Labour Party rules. Today it's about that. I mean, it seems again that the Labour Party. I take your point that you don't write the headlines, but that the way this conference has been covered is about kind of internal Labour Party kind of machinations and words and that sort of stuff, rather than kind of headlines about setting out a plan to win votes at the next election.
Well, as they say, they do make better stories, even though actually, even today, take what's happening today. I've been setting out a really ambitious plan for building more truly affordable homes and first-time buyers getting access to more homes. We had Ed Miliband this morning setting out why it's so important that in tackling the climate crisis, we also use it to tackle the jobs crisis as well. And he was setting out plans for how we're going to support the steel industry and other industries switching to green. These are bold, big agendas, but no, they don't grab the headlines because perhaps people are more interested, or perhaps it's more easy to understand when we're having an argument with ourselves. But I think we've got a lot to say this week, and we're going to hear more from Keir and others later in the week, and hopefully by the end of the week people can make their own judgment about that.
Just how crucial is this week for the Labour Party? Because in many regards, still behind in the polls, a sense that Keir Starmer hasn't really got like an absolute grip on the party, that there's still questions about his authority. We could be 18 months out from, or slightly more, from a general election. It could be in May 2023. That's not a long time to actually crank up and convince the public that Labour should be back in government again.
Well, look, we had 4 election defeats in a row. In 2019, we went further backwards and the Tories came in with a big majority. We're under no illusion about how hard that task is to win the next election or the election after that even as well, and the mountain we have got to climb as a party. We're under no illusion about that. And these conference weeks they are a real opportunity for us to set out our stall, to speak to people directly in their living rooms, watching your show and other shows, and tell them about the plans we've got for the country and how we are heading up those big challenges the country face with real solutions. And hopefully, people will get a chance to hear that this week and make their own minds up. But yeah, it's a tough task, there's no question about that.
We've just been talking as well about Keir Starmer's comments this morning, cervix and that. Do you think Rosie Duffield, who's the Labour MP for Canterbury, has been kind of let down by the leadership to a degree?
Look, these are sort of difficult issues, and there's different versions of conversations and so on. But look, I think I totally respect trans rights. I think that people have the right to determine their own gender and live their lives how they want to live their lives, how they choose to live their lives. And trans people, they don't make up very many people in our society, but they are some of the most abused, marginalised, traumatised, mentally worried, anxious, suicidal often sort of people in our society, and we should do a lot more to make them feel that they can be who they truly want to be, and that's what the Labour Party is about.
Okay. Even sometimes maybe so that the argument we made at the expense of women. Live in Brighton this afternoon. Thank you for your time.